Welcome to the video and vlog number 3 of my triathlon series. Training is going really well so far, really enjoying it, and I'm loving putting out these videos to give you an update on what's going on. Thank you so much for your support, I really appreciate it. And if you are enjoying them, do make sure you give the channel a subscribe and hit the bell to be notified for my future videos. I've got loads more to come in this series and I'm really excited to share it all with you. But for today, I'm talking about tracking training. I'm talking about how I'm doing it at the moment and why I think it's so important. I think there's some great methods out there and it's a really powerful tool to use for motivation and inspiration to keep getting out there. So I'm keen to share them with you and I hope they help you along in your training, no matter what you're training for or how you end up tracking it. I think it could be really useful. So I'm going to chat about that, but first I need to hit the kitchen, get some lunch, because this training has got me super hungry. I'm eating loads more than normal, and then I'm going to hit a run. So I'm going to take you along for the ride and it's going to be a good vlog and I hope you enjoy it, so stick with me. So why is tracking your training so important? I think that I've been reaping the rewards of this subconsciously for some time. I hadn't really realized until I started thinking about it, actually how powerful keeping some accountability and tracking of my training sessions is. And I really wanted to share that with you because I thought it could be really useful for you in your training, just to make sure that you are keeping a record of what you're doing, and hopefully it will get you motivated to keep on track with whatever you're trying to achieve. So on a Sunday night or a Monday morning, I'll sit down, and this is where my accountability comes in. I'm accountable to myself because I'll plan the week ahead. I'll look at where I've got time to train, stick in my sessions, they're there in black and white and they'll be staring at me all week. If I don't get them done, I'm gonna feel super guilty and I just won't feel comfortable with the situation. So wherever you look at the most, put the training sessions in, and I think it'll be really powerful in making sure that you get out there and get them done. And I think there's a much higher success rate when something is written down, and even the act of writing down just cements it in your mind what you want to achieve and why you want to achieve it. This then leads on to achievement, and I think if you achieve something by achieving those sessions that you've planned, it's going to give you so much confidence and it's going to make you feel really good, and it keeps you going on that snowball effect of just building the training sessions and the training plan, which then of course leads you into the next thing, which is confidence. And confidence and mentality is such a massive thing, certainly for me. Obviously the physical training is essential to achieve something like a triathlon that I'm training for, but mentally, you know, your body will put up with a lot, but your mind is probably going to be the first thing to go. So if you feel confident, you are going to be winning. I think for me, standing on that start line in August, being able to look back, you know, at all the training that I've done, I'll be able to look at all the sessions I've put in, all the hours and all the work that's gone into the training, and I'll be able to think to myself, of course I can run an hour, of course I can run 40k, and I can put it all together, and hopefully that will get me over those little nerves at the beginning of the race and push me through. So confidence is a massive factor. It can also, you know, you can delve into the stats and you can help to see, hopefully you'll be improving in your training, but there will be some times where it's a little bit up and down and you might see some decline maybe in your times, or you know, the power that you're outputting or something like that. But it might just give you a little bit of insight into the fact you maybe need a rest, maybe you need a taper week, maybe you're doing too much, or your scheduling is not quite working out for you. Everyone's different, but it could actually give you some really valuable feedback and help you in the long run to achieve what you want to achieve. So all in all, I think by tracking and planning, you're onto a winner, and it's a really strong tool to help you in your training. So let me eat this wrap. Really hungry still, got chatting, and then I'll tell you how I'm going about planning and tracking my training, so that when I hit that start line in August, we'll be ready to rock and roll. I've eaten, I've got some mental clarity back and all is well in the world. I'm just about to go on my run, but first I wanted to tell you how I'm tracking my training. I'm using my Garmin Vivoactive 4 to capture the sessions themselves. Now, I've made a video on this already. You can check it out up here, and that was just the unboxing of the watch and my first impressions. And I promised in that video that I would give you a little bit of a real life analysis after a few months of using it. And I've had it now for 4 months. So when I go out on my run, I'm just going to run you through the pros and cons that I've noticed so far. But in terms of picking up my sessions, I've been using this. I just press start when I go out, and in terms of my running, it's a GPS watch, so it picks up the route, picks up my time, my distance, and my heart rate, and of course my pace, so it helps me stay on track for what I want to achieve in that run, either by distance or time, and then I can check that I'm going the right pace. Similarly, on my turbo trainer, it picks up the power, the distance, the time, and my heart rate when I'm on a turbo trainer. So again, I can track if I want to ride 20k, I can see where I'm at. And after all of that data then gets pushed up to my Strava account. Now, Strava is where I can do a little bit more of a detailed analysis on the data that's come out of my training sessions. I can check that I'm working hard enough, and it just keeps track of everything. So, for example, there's a really nice little tool on it now that you can add in your perceived rate of exercise, which is, how hard you think you've worked during the session. And I can compare this to my heart rate and the pace, for example, on a run. So if my heart rate was really high and my pace was down a little bit on usual, but I found the whole session really hard, it might just indicate to me that I'm a little bit tired and perhaps I need to factor in a rest day. Or perhaps on the flip side, I've been a little bit lazy and I could have worked a little bit harder. So it's really, really useful. And that's just one example, but you can delve into all the data there and, check out that you're on track and see how hard you're working, etc., etc. Of course, there's the whole motivational point of view as well, and Strava does a great job of making summaries. So at the top you can have a weekly summary of your distance, and it gives you I think it sends you an email of your monthly account of your training. And as I was talking about before, I think it's a great confidence booster and it's great for motivation just to see that in black and white, and it's almost like a little coach just telling you, yeah, you've done really well, feel good about yourself, and again, keep that snowball going and keep you training. Talking of training, at the moment I'm just doing 2 to 3 turbo sessions a week and 2 to 3 running sessions a week, just because I want to build my base. But I am going to be going forward with a slightly more specific training plan, going more towards the triathlon. And of course, I've got to factor in some swimming as well. So if you do know of any online training plans that you can semi-bespoke to your own needs and put in sort of what you want to achieve, I'd be really appreciative of any tips and tricks there. Drop me a comment below. But for now, I think I need to head out on my run before the sun goes away, and I'm just going to run you through, as I've said, the pros and cons of this Garmin Vivoactive 4. So I will see you out there on the run. I'm out here on the run, way colder than I expected, but luckily I changed hats. Pushing through this hard winter training, it's going to be worth it come August. I've got the Garmin on the go, and I just wanted to talk through a few of the pros and the cons I've noticed when changing over from the Samsung Gear S3. Now, for me, I really like wearing this watch. It's really light and easy to wear, which means that I've got it on all the time and that I don't forget it. So it's making sure that I track all of my workouts without too much of a worry. The battery life on it is pretty decent. It lasts me 4 to 5 days, I think, while training pretty heavily, running, cycling and everything. So that's fantastic, because if I have to keep taking it off to charge, these things don't work for me. But thirdly, I think the biggest pro for me really is being able to see really clearly the dials when I'm actually training. It's easy to see, you can see your pace and your time and tracking your distance and all the rest without too much of a problem. When I'm running, the last thing I want to do is be squinting down at small details. but it's really, really clear, as you probably saw in the clip at the beginning. It actually enabled me to, I do credit it to helping me get my 10k PB at the back end of 2019, because I set myself some split times that I wanted to hit. I had them written down on my hand, and I was just able to quickly glance at my watch and make sure I was on track, and that worked out really well for me in the end. So I'm hoping for more of the same during my triathlon training. Moving on to the cons, I think really the one to note for me is, and this is my fault because at the time of buying this watch I didn't realise I was going to be signing up for a triathlon, but this has not been made for triathlons. It's fine for my training, I think, because I run and I cycle and I'll be swimming with it. Hopefully that will work out okay, but there's no dedicated sort of module to track a triathlon. So when it comes to race day, I'm not 100% sure just yet what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll have to track each individual element separately. Anyone got any tips? I'd love to hear them, other than going to buy one of the other Garmin watches, which is very tempting, but I don't really want to splash out between now and then because there's lots of other triathlon related things that I need to buy. But I'm sure I can work a way through it. But that is a bit of a bummer, and maybe if I'd have, hindsight's a wonderful thing, and if I'd have known I'd be racing a triathlon, I would have thought about that. So if you are, you might not want to get the Vivoactive 4 and get one of them more sort of ones that are geared towards triathlons. But apart from that, really, really happy with it. It's a really solid build, and I think you'd love it if you're into a bit of general training. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video and you can take some of the things I've chatted about and put them into action to support and motivate your training for the coming year. If you did enjoy the video, give it a like and a subscribe at the end, and I'll catch you out there on the run.